I think that's one criticism that a lot of people had at EG of Dream League is that they were picking Viper to the bitter end when everyone else kind of
Yeah.
said like, I think this hero's been figured out. And granted, they dropped out of the tournament before the end where it proved to be figured out, but I guess they were kind of more adamant than other teams at keeping that trend going. And I agree, OG are really good at kind of forging their own path. They've historically been that way. Basically, I give a lot of credit to that to Seb when he was the coach. Now Pipa or however you pronounce his name. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but PPA Cyril. I don't know. You know who I'm talking
Passerelle,
about.
yeah.
Passerelle. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think they're more creative than other teams, and that's why I think a lot of people enjoy watching them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and they do things in a fairly spectacular way, whether through games going on longer than they should, or games from the enemy team not being finished off in time, etc. And they never give in. I think that's another big thing people appreciate about OG as well. You can guarantee that out of all other teams, I think we saw a very early GG out. Who was it by?
When was what are you
NIP
referring
versus
to?
Secret. I think NIP threw in a really early GG.
Oh yeah,
games.
yeah.
Other teams do this thing quite a lot, where they're like, we want to preserve our, there's a really low chance we're going to win this game, and we want to be in a good mentality for the next game coming up, so we'll take the GG out early. OG never do that sort of thing, because you always kind of feel like they're always having fun and they're always laughing, which
yeah, they're a very emotional team compared to other teams, and it's not like a super high and super low emotion, which I think is usually the downfall of teams that are emotional. It's like, whenever they're riding excitement and it's like magical, but whenever they're down a little bit, then like it careens out of control. I think they do a very good job of like keeping it in the middle ground and always being on the slight positive side.
Seb does a very good job of keeping it in the middle ground,
exactly.
slay, that sort of thing. Always
Ana and Thompson, they're just along for the ride.
Yeah, they're just having a great time. I mean, they don't have emotions, so
they're having a time. Hopefully Final Tribe can match that sort of intensity, because in game one, I would be depressed if I was Final Tribe.
Yeah, hopefully they're taking the opportunity to learn, but I had a short word, very short word. I mean, like a couple of sentences with Era before, but he seemed in pretty good spirits about the whole thing, so...
I mean, grand finals for a major. A lot of people don't consider this, but like every single result that you have impacts how your next tournament qualifier is going to be. So like if you made it to grand finals of the major qualifier, then the minor qualifier will look at you and be like, oh, okay, don't make them go through opens. Just give them a direct invite to the minor qualifiers, because they did fairly well. Whereas if you burn out, or if you're like NIP and you like dropped out of a major in a non-spectacular fashion and you don't do very well at the next major qualifier, then it's possible that a minor qualifier organizer is going to be like, well, let's give the invite to someone else who's been doing better recently and make them go through opens. So as it is, being able to show up this late in the bracket, Final Tribe are exceeding expectations. And if they manage to get a game off, great. But if not, I think they should be happy with how far they can.
And it wouldn't be the first time they took a game off OG either, because I believe they played against each other in the bracket as well. That was Group A,
yeah,
the decider match,
lost.
And they did manage to take a game away. That was with a Meepo pick. The lineup was Prophet, Brew, Lion, Ursa, and Meepo to round things off again. So no Meepo bans, but definitely not a good Meepo game against Magnus and Ember.
Yeah, and I think that was the only Storm game that Thompson has played. I think Storm's on the up and up. VP are making a strong case for it, but I think Thompson's better suited on the Fire brother of the Spirits.
Yeah, I mean it's a Thompson hero, or it's a Nana hero. It's one of the ones they play interchangeably, which is a very good factor to have in your team when two players are known for playing a certain hero. Then you can pick it and not give anything away in these lanes, especially when it's a hero interchangeable between mid and safe lane like Ember Spirit. Final Tribe round off their draft with a tiny pickup, which looks like it's going to be in the middle lane from what I can see. Enigma in the off. I wonder if you put Enigma on the 4 or Doom on the 4, because we've seen these heroes both thrown on the 4.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Or, I mean, they could do what OG did in their Alliance series, make it Enigma 5, do Tiny 4. Or, oh, never mind, Wyvern's in the game. Yeah, so... probably 4 Enigma would be my guess.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
so as
prefer
well.
it more than 4 Doom.
I mean, it's nice 'cause it's one of the only heroes which can jungle while still having an impact on the lane by denying those creeps on the off lane.
Right.
And then, of course,
And
your
I
Doom's
think
going to have a great time from that as well.
4 Doom is, you're so level dependent now, because now Scorched Earth doesn't give you the double value of being able to give you regen and damage. So you need points in Devour, you need points in Scorched Earth. And recently, a lot of people have been making, like a lot of the Chinese teams, and I think teams in general, are preferring maxed out Scorched Earth over the Infernal Blade just for laning phase. So I'm curious to see how Zibe plays it. And they finish off the draft with the Topson Lina, so it is going to be on the Ember Spirit and Topson on the Lina, and Ember's going to have some nice empowering going for him as well. Lena's on the up and up for sure. I know right after 7.21D, CCNC was spamming her as she has received a pretty substantial Agi buff. She got 7 more base Agi and 0.3 more Agi per level.
It's crazy,
So,
right? So there's attack speed going to go through the roof.
Attack speed, she gets more armor now as well. I think that's like an entire an additional point of armor, and then the growth as well. She has more armor as she goes later in the game. So I thought that Lina was underrated for the past few patches because it seems to go very well with what people like to do, which is like you have solid wave clear, you can farm the jungle, you do fairly well in lane, and having a low cooldown ultimate like Laguna Blade is so nice. A lot of mids these days are very, very fast-paced, low cooldown ultimates in general. So I think Lina's probably going to be a hero that we're seeing very, very frequently in the coming patches. Coming tournaments, assuming that there isn't another patch, another 7.22 or something like that before the minor starts.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think this hero is kind of underrated right now, especially with all the high armor supports being so popular. You know, like we were talking about Earthshaker's having a buff recently. Ogre's Nyx Assassin especially has been.
Oh yeah, Nyx. Although Nyx is pretty good against Lina though.
Oh yeah, okay, that's pretty true. Just ruining her combos. Oh, double disconnect as they just need to grab back into the game quickly. FPS drops, no problems at all. As gives us some time to sum things up, as Jerax and Seb will be heading to the top lane doing a ton of damage with this combo as they throw up the power and the Vengeance Aura and the anti-armor together. These two heroes just working pretty well to give you a huge amount of physical advantage in these fights. Should be heading up top for the time being on the Doom, which means they're going to be throwing 3 heroes down bottom for the time being. I'm not sure if this will stay, but it's Frost on the TB, Error on the Wyvern, and Handskin on the Enigma, all heading down to the bottom lane to lane up versus the Spirit for the time being. So Arna Ember, this is a pretty exciting hero for him to be on, as you said in the draft. It's a pretty cool hero for him to be visiting, as we've seen some ridiculous players from Ana on this hero in the past.
Yeah, and he's going to be accelerated very heavily. Although I think it's interesting that he's probably going to go for a very farm-intensive build. I don't know how Ana builds him these days. I didn't catch any of his games in the qualifier, but I would be totally on board with him going for like BOTs and a build like that, because I'm more than confident that Topson on this Lina is going to be able to do a lot. Terrorblade, his illusions are going to get shredded by all this magic damage by the Lina in the early stages of the game, and then obviously Enchantress can steal some of the illusions, and eventually this Ember Spirit is going to come online that he can just shred all of them with one Empower Cleave in a sleight of fist.
Yeah, that's going to be painful when that comes about, and I think something which Final Tribe are going to have to be playing around pretty quickly. Luckily, they do have these 2 big spells to work around. They've got the Doom, and they've got the Black Hole, 2 spells which are fantastic versus the Ember Spirit, as he relies on his mobility so much and has little to no active tankiness. So that is something which Final Tribe will be certainly trying to use to put down this Ember, and also Lina as well, if she gets doomed. I mean, you've got 2 great Doom targets in this game already.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, after that terrible performance on Earthshaker last game, I hope Jerax can pull something better this time, because Venge Swaps can be very, very important to get his people out of Doom or to cancel Black Hole.
You're the worst. You're fueling all those guys in my pubs who are like, you're doing terribly because you've got a bad KD. Like, no, I'm doing terribly because I'm bad.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
Get it right.
Yeah. Jesse being chased away out of the jungle by Notel on his Enchantress. An old favorite of his. Probably one of his most played of all times, if not the Chen.
30 seconds to battle.
Dude, where's a no-tail IO at? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
When's
that's
IO
true.
coming back to captain's mode?
Oh god, help us all. It's been a nice hiatus from the IO meta, as they're all here looking at no-tail here, but they can't close the gap, and the little
317 move speed.
herself away. Yeah, very speedy. No chance for a gap close from the final try, but it does mean they'll be able to secure this bottom rune. Actually, Jesse still comes in and throws a tree towards no-tail's direction, but no blood spill, as things are going to be pretty even. Although this top rune,
No, we'll get it.
all right,
No rush.
we'll leave it. No,
Yeah, I think no-tail's trying to figure out what the lane situation is. I don't know what they're looking for. I think Enchantress versus TB would probably be pretty good, mainly because of the Untouchable makes the Metamorphosis not that intimidating, and then obviously you can, like I said, enchant one of his Conjure Images, which also makes his Metamorphosis transformation not as intimidating, so I think that's what they're primarily looking for, and it looks like they got it.
Yep, no-tail fighting up against Frost and Ira here. I worry about Frost being down here in the bottom lanes. They might have got themselves a better matchup, but it does mean that Frost doesn't have a jungle to retreat to at any stage. But of course, can just TP over in that direction. But you know, you do kind of worry because we see so many of these Terra players just kind of GGing out of the lane so early on and hitting the jungle, which I guess you can still just TP over to it, but it feels like a much higher committal needed. Enigma taking these creeps and farming these stacks here, though no-tail's going to sneakily grab this mud goal and make things a little less efficient for him, but Hanskin's actually moving in across to the other side of the map.
So it looks like no-tail's more interested in making sure that Enigma doesn't have a game than making sure that Terrorblade doesn't have a game. Also, I mean, Terrorblade is in meta form right now, so it's possible he's like, I can't do anything there right now anyway, so I might as well just bother this Enigma. But it seems like it would be a bad idea to let this Terrorblade free farm and be more concerned about Enigma, because you've got a Vengeful Spirit. This Enigma needs a lot of farm before he starts being useful in terms of black holes. Yeah, the auras are useful, but overall, I'm more concerned about Terrorblade getting farmed than I am an Enigma.
Meanwhile, here at top lane, no-tail's being a little bit surrounded here, but Jibby has gone for this Devour, so he's only got the Thunderclap to work with, and
dude, all his creeps just got digested. He devoured the Hellbear, and Hanskin converted his Mud Golem Shard, but he takes the Alpha Wolf.
It's very rude. No-tail's creeps just being torn apart by Final Tribes. Alright, so where are we going to see first blood? Help an observer out.
I would put my money on mid. I don't really think that this Enchantress can do enough in terms of rotations. She has to get, like, amazing steals. And right now, again, it seems like she's more interested in bothering the Enigma than she is about going into other lanes to get gank attempts. And you may see Seb go down. Wyvern plus a Terrorblade if Seb is clumsy with a Skewer, which is unlikely. But if it happens, or if he tries to retreat and Frost manages to get in front of the Skewer, then you could see Mag go down.
It's certainly possible, and you know, things looking a little bit rougher in the bottom lane when you kind of just take a glance at it. You know, 10-2 on the Magnus compared to the 15-3 on Frost. But then you realize that there's actually 3 heroes committed to this bottom lane. It's essentially a tri-lane versus Seb, as we've got the Enigma in the jungle eating up these creeps. So though, yeah, I'm not sure if he's eating off mid's creeps. Does look like he's coming for mids now, actually. Oh no, he's just moving across the jungle.
This must be something that OG are like aware of, because I've never seen someone be this obsessed about jungle Enigmas before. I know some teams are usually take the other approach and they're like, okay, a hero's missing from lane, let's go push that lane that he's missing from really heavily. And an Enchantress can do that, because you can steal a creep, you can move the enemy creep wave around, cut it off, and now Doom's in the jungle meeting up with no-tail.
Does have the TP away though, so will be absolutely fine as he gets across. Went up to lane actually and pops a salve and gets back to laning versus Ana here, as he's actually willingly taken this Cloak Aura for the... How much resistance is it? Magic resistance
It's
here is
not much.
10%.
Yeah.
Gives more to creeps. Well, his creeps are going to be pretty tanky. Good luck bursting those down, Ana. Little Flame Guard. Hasn't actually leveled anything up on Ana, by the way. He's just gone for 2 on Sleight of Fist and is holding the chains and the Flame Guard to see which one he needs.
Dude, he's like, this guy has way too much magic resistance. It doesn't add up. I can't do any damage to him. Oh, okay. No-tail's finally going to get punished for all his creativity here.
Yeah, it does look like he's in a bit of trouble as the Avalanche comes out, toss as well, and there's your first blood. And it is going to go the way of the final try.
Don't be mad.
Jesse TP's out of his own mid lane. Is like, I'm so sick of this shit. I'm gonna kill this Enchantress.
Yeah, if you guys can't do it.
It's a level 1 Enchantress, so I mean, it was more of just a nuisance thing than it was like, oh my god, this Enchantress is out of control, I gotta stop her. And like, she stole a tiny illusion. How brutal.
Yeah, well, it does cancel that clarity on Hanskin, who's just kind of really bored of...
Look, and Jesse's like, didn't I teach you? How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old lady?
Just hiding in the trees, giggling away. Bounties come up, and Final Tribe are on the case as they manage to take themselves 3 again. Leaving one for GG. Oh no, it was actually 2. Was it 2 or 3? I can't count.
It was 2 apiece.
It's 2 apiece, okay. Oh yeah, because they just left theirs to age a little bit to top. Which I'm assuming they took after all.
Oh, you mean the level 1 runes? It was 3 and 1. Yeah, Final Tribe got 3.
Yeah. I'm not going insane. That's nice to know. Thompson maybe in some trouble here as Jesse's going to throw him back under the tower. The Light Strike Array will come out, but with heroes coming in, but Jerax is already here to help defend his mid laner, but I'm not sure it's going to help. The Arctic Burns coming out, the right clicks as well. Thompson is going to go down as Jesse finds a kill. Now look towards Jerax as well, trying to run himself away. Under the tower again he goes, and into the Splinter Blast. Final Tribe, styling in the middle lane.
Dude, No-Tail will not leave Hanskin alone. This is relentless. I guess it's working.
It's nearly level 2, and Enigma is like halfway through level 2, so...
It's just, it feels weird to let a Terrorblade like free farm like this. And I think against like a paparazzi Terrorblade you would never do this. But a Frost Terrorblade, it seems like OG are, you know, content with it, as now yet another Toss Avalanche combo, and Enchantress goes down again.
Not a huge surprise there to see No-Tail get caught out a couple of times. Of course, very susceptible to this magic damage as Anna getting busy on Jibby up in the top lane. Centaur Stump comes out to hold him back for the time being, but he's level 6 now. He's going for the Remnants forwards onto Jibby, and with Jerax joining in as well, they will be able to find this kill. And a draw.
You know what the problem was? He got the Centaur Stomp. Should have stuck with the magic resistance aura.
Magic resist. And then the creeps wouldn't have died, and they'd be helping out as well. It would have been great.
Exactly. Era has to come up top to defend this tower, and it looks like Zibe may help out. And Chessie is, oh no, he's not going. Instead it's Enchantress. Continuing to find out what this Enigma's up to.
What happened up in the top lane? So we're kind of paying attention to it a little bit. I mean, 48 CS on Anna, and, well, the Doom sitting down on 6th.
Doom kept going into the jungle, so I don't know if Vengeful Spirit is just, like, too difficult for a solo Doom to deal with.
6 CS?
Because between... Yeah, I think that's a bit much.
And he's level 3, whilst Anna is coming up on level 7, must be.
Clearly, No-Tail's distraction play is just working wonders.
Somehow.
Jerax dies to the Avalanche Toss.
Even the Courier here as well, but Anna will ignore it. Okay, 3 heroes chasing down Anna right now. He could finally be in some trouble. Does have the Remnants to play with. He'll move across, but the toss does in, but the Centaur Stomp doesn't land. Anna will get himself away just fine. Escapes 3 heroes. Easy.
I mean, Doom does need some help early on. Like I said, you need points in Devourer, Scorched Earth, and Infernal Blade to actually be effective in lane. But I didn't think Wave of Terror and Sleight of Fist is that devastating against a Doom. Granted, he does have low armor.
Trouble. The Centaur Stomp gonna connect from No-Tail here. Now Life Track Rage follow up as well, throwing a Laguna Blade, and that hero is dead. However, Jibby coming in, immediately getting stunned up by Jerax here. No-Tail under tower, but he's gonna be okay as the Centaur is tanking everything to back themselves out. And, well, they'll just get themselves a kill and get out clean on the side of OG. So starting to get back at Final Tribe for getting that kill advantage on them earlier on. And they have the network advantage, which isn't surprising.
I've never seen a level 3 Enigma with the Dominator before. That's such a weird, weird thing to see.
Yeah. Just straight up Helm of the Dominator, level 3, let's go. Let's get some waves pushed in, kids.
So I don't know if this is like according to No-Tail's plan or if he's just like, well, that didn't work. Because ultimately, he did stifle the levels, but Hanskin's still getting all the last hits. And a timing for an 8-minute Dominator is exceptional for an Enigma. Especially since he only has level 2 Eidolons to farm with.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm wondering, did he do the same thing as he did we've seen from other Enigmas, where you buy the Ring of Regen and give them to your other heroes? I didn't see if that was the case in the game.
Dire's structures are fortified.
What do you mean?
So it's getting quite common where the Enigma starts with absolutely no
Radiant's
items and
middle
just
tower is under
goes
attack.
for a ring of two ring of regens.
Oh,
And then,
okay, and
gives
then
them to
pulls
the-
it and then gets it back. Yeah, I did not
Gets
catch it.
I saw him popping quite a few clarities early on, so maybe that wasn't the case. But
I mean, it's not like he's tanking that much if he's in the or it's not like his teammates were tanking that much. Terrorblade was landing against a mag solo pretty much, and Doom clearly did not have anything
he
in
had
terms
to
of
tank
help
no
for
tails,
his
though.
lane.
Midnight Pulse being thrown down here as OG trying to come forwards with this rune, but Hanskin will take it up and try and get himself away. They want this creep. No, they want the hero. Actually, they're chasing forwards for more, and there's the Searing Chains, and the Shockwave going to throw Hanskin in, and they will get that kill onto the Enigma. Yeah. Black Hole isn't going to be out for a very long time, as he's still only level 4 on this Enigma, but I don't think that's too much of an issue as Ana tries to go for the rune here instead of finding Jibby. Jibby's still not getting level 6 as Ana will throw in the chains and, well, gets stumped up. Jibby will get himself away. Now with phase boots as well, so we can evade Ana a little bit easier now. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, OG are grouping up for a push here. And they've got this catapult from bottom lane, which Notel is now trying to heal up with his third spell. Tower being put in. Final drive. Where's the defense for this? They want to get for the deny here instead. We'll be able to find the deny, but the tower's dead all the same. Zed coming in from the sidelines, maybe looking for some kind of cute play, but doesn't find it.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Yeah, he's
attack.
looking for an RP where he could turn around and not have to walk behind to get the skewer, but no one came close enough. Or maybe he was looking for a swap play with Jerax, which I hope happens, because it's always hype to see swap into skewer combos.
Agreed. That's always pretty fun. Meanwhile, Notel gonna go down again, but we're looking towards Era here as he's stunned up. The Winter Wyvern in some trouble. Ana and Jax running him down. I don't think there's any escape from this one as Era will die. It's a kill, not a kill for Ana, by the way. So he's ripping up the net worth chart. Though it is actually the Tiny. Chessie in 5-1 right now, and Ana at 3-0. So not the biggest hero in the game, and not the highest kill lead, but definitely has the most gold.
It's going to start accelerating now that Seb's hanging out with Ana. I'm going to give him empowers, and they have completely taken control of this dire jungle.
Oh my god.
As Notel dies
stop
again to
dying,
Chessie.
please. Goodness me. Like,
Radiant's
Chessie's just
bottom
farming him.
tower is under attack.
Swap up
Swap
onto
to
the
the high
high
ground.
ground. Yeah, Enigma could be in some trouble throwing down the Midnight Pulse, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Still doesn't have that Black Bolt to work with, so Hanskin will be dying alone. They get the return kill onto Jarax, however. Alright, Notel's respawn. I'm just going to watch him until he inevitably gets killed by Tiny. Let's go.
I mean, Jerax is higher level than the Enigma, so I don't know who comes out ahead. Technically, by net worth, yes, Enigma slightly is outfarming the Vengeful Spirit, but whatever the case, like, I feel like both teams are just going for easy kills, and they're not really facing the hard enemies. They're just the Tiny's farming up the Enchantress, who is just food, and this Enigma is fighting for relevancy. And for voice.
And for voice, yep. I'm going to get that TeamSpeak back online. They're probably using Skype, that's what the problem is.
That was hot.
Thompson and Notel hanging around here, maybe looking for this Tiny, as they know that the moment Notel shows on a lane, the Tiny will be summoned.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Thompson hasn't gone for more Laguna Blade plays, but I think that's because it's not necessary at this stage. Like, Ana's doing fine, he's doing fine. Thompson isn't really under pressure to create space. Otherwise, whenever you see Lena's these days, it's usually because, like I mentioned in the draft, you want this high tempo, low cooldown ultimate, and you want to just constantly be putting pressure on the map. But, you know, it's your Enchantress and your Mag and your Venge seem to be putting enough pressure, and your cores are doing fine that you can just sit back and relax, it seems.
You know what I want to see coming out from Notel?
Let's hear it.
Dagon.
So
good versus
Okay, I could be in.
Yeah.
Straight up enchant one of them, Dagon the other one, and
Yeah,
all of a
there you
sudden he
go.
doesn't have any illusions.
He's just naked.
I like it.
Or I guess the Helm of the Dominator would achieve the same thing, just enchant one, dominate the other, but I think the Dagon
You
is
can't
more in
dominate
theme with OG.
illusions.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Wait, can you? Oh, no, you can't. It's,
No. They're considered
You can
heroes.
enchant them, but you can't.
Yeah, because enchant doesn't play by the rules.
It's a bad boy spell.
Dude, I remember when you could enchant Roche for a patch, and it was great, because whenever the enchant timed out, then you would drop the Aegis.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a pretty stupid patch, I'm not gonna lie.
It was a pretty stupid patch.
Rotation down to the bottom lane as Chessie. He knows what he wants. Chessie's only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Oh, no tail is going to be found again. Immediately blink avalanche toss. See, it works. It works. We just follow no tail. Eventually, Chessie will kill him.
But what's it all for? That was a blink dagger reveal on an enchantress on the other side of the
Considering how
map,
last
and now
game
OG are
went.
proceeding.
Oh, beautiful. Chains coming out here as he holds them both together. Ana looking for more, running out of mana a little bit here as he's chasing at the tower. Eric getting very low. Will back himself up. Seb's coming in, though. He wants to finish off the kill. He does have a shockwave in 2 seconds. Will he be able to guess right? However, Eric going down, going for the TP out. They cancel the TP on the Doom, though. Ana gets it in the tree lines. They will chase him down. Jibby trying to go on the run here, trying to run himself through the trees. Seb and Ana are giving chase. Will they actually find him here? It looks like they might not. Wait, never mind. Alright, they got it, they got it. The Slayer Fist is going to give him away. And the Light Strike Array connects as well. Doom brought down. A chuckle comes out from Thompson as they claim the kill onto Jibby at long last. And Noah looks towards his tower as well. They've got a catapult coming on. You betcha. They know when they're going for these ganks. This isn't fortune. This is deliberate. 50-minute means gank o'clock, and Era steps too close to the fire. And Ana, well, he does back himself off. The Winter's Curse dropped for this, though. Frost coming in from behind, though. He's got Metamorphosis used here as he's trying to fight up there. He's going to use a Black Hole onto Thompson as well here. The Lina, he's going to be going down. That does mean Ana will escape, I would guess, although Chessie's coming in, but he's got an urn on him, so he can't blink for another 2 seconds. Doesn't want to try and chase down Ana here, especially with Jarek's backing him up as well. So final try. They'll settle for the Lina kill and get themselves back to farming, back to getting some map control as well.
Yeah, Jarex was too far, and Ana's Searing Chance was on cooldown, so no opportunity to cancel that Black Hole. So a rare opportunity for Hanskin to be able to execute a successful Black Hole to kill a hero, but I think those opportunities are going to come far and few between. But if you're getting, you know, hemmed in between the enemy tier 2 and tier 3, you probably deserve to get Black Holed.
That's true. That's true.
Dire's top tower is
Thompson?
under attack.
Overextending? No. That doesn't sound like Thompson. He's a very...
Perish the thought.
Yeah, very careful and considered player from everything I've seen.
So Ana ends up going for the more practical build these days whenever you have the Sleight of Fist max, which is Phase Boots and Maelstrom, so not the BOTs that I was hoping to see, but still a very, very effective build. And he's going for Lincoln's next because he knows at some point Doom is going to feel like using his ultimate. We don't know when it'll happen, but it will probably happen, and it will probably be targeting the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, it feels likely that's going to be the case. I'm wondering, he's going for a blink. Yes, he is. Good. I think this is good.
There we
Okay,
go.
then there, the Doom comes out. They've got the Ember Spirit. Ana toasted up in the top lane by Chessie and Jibby here. There's your first Doom coming out. Well, you throw in the flame, and he'll throw it right back at you, Tsunami, and he does get a kill with that Doom. And an important one at that. This is a little bit of OG's momentum going down here as the God Avalanche is now on the side of the final tribe. And don't forget, they're the team with the Terrorblade. They're the scary ones this game, especially if it goes late.
Yeah, Thompson's going for a Shadow Blade, so it's not like a particularly late game focused build. It's still this mid game oriented build as they smoke up high ground, find Chessie, Yules him.
Yeah. There's the Light Strike Array to finish off as
Oh, he got the
well.
avalanche off.
Beautiful little Winter's Curse from the side. Gonna give Chessie the space he needs to survive this one. Thompson getting low. Toss in. Is it enough? No, Thompson still surviving for the time being. A swap to Chessie brings him into the trees, but OG do not want to try and go for this kill. They will get out with nothing. Still, Winter's Curse is down, but they've got so many big ultimates that Enigma's ultimate is going to be up in like 50 seconds, so they've always got one of these cycling through as they keep staggering their ultimate usages between Winter's Curse, Black Hole, and Doom.
Yeah, and then Hanskin's definitely getting back into the game with this Enigma. He's got Mechanism completed, should have Greaves fairly soon.
Out in the middle lane,
And-
Skewer back as well. Chessie thrown out of position here as the Antiana coming in, the lights, everything being used, Laguna Blade, everything thrown at Chessie, and they will be able to bring this Tiny down. The mountain crumbles as Oji looks towards their middle lane, pinging out this tower. This is
Wow,
what
they
I
were
mean,
able to
right?
do that without RP.
Well, bottom lane does need to be counter pushed as well, but yeah, Magic to do it without RP, absolutely. And now this middle lane tower, it's going to be in some trouble. And this is right. This is kind of what we've been seeing, right? Final Tribe, they're getting a ton of kills. They've had 11 kills so far. What have they done with that?
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Not a whole lot.
They haven't done much, but I think at the minimum their goal is to buy time for Frost.
Yeah.
Whenever you have
yeah.
a Terrorblade on your team, you're just like
you could
trying
be
to
in some
create
trouble
enough
now, though.
distractions.
Ana's going to go for this. There is a Thunder available. Ana tries to dodge it, but doesn't quite work out. Might still be winning this fight all the time. The Reflection doing a fair amount of damage to Ana there. He's got another Sleight of Fist as Frost just turns around, throwing down the Metamorphosis. Does give up on the kill, though. Doesn't want to try and chase too far.
He got a meta transformation out, so I think that's a win in Ana's book, as the rest of his team is taking Roche uncontested, so he absolutely does his job. Gonna shrine up. TP's down for another 20 seconds, so he's not gonna be able to join his team, but they're probably planning on giving the Aegis to Thompson anyway. Or Ana's walking his way over. Says okay. Clearly they're conferring on who to give the Aegis to, and he's like, okay, give it to me, boys.
Oh, yep, he is going to come over, clearing a space in that inventory and grab himself his Aegis. I mean, this is who you want to see the Aegis on, really, if you're OG. I think it'd be kind of wasted on the Lena, because if she dies once, it's very likely she's going to die twice.
I would agree, but she has a Shadow Blade, and so that makes me feel like she's allowed to be more invasive than most Lenas, who are kind of staying behind. And Seb also has a Blink Dagger, so I feel like if you can lead off with a really safe Yules out of Shadow Blade initiation, then, you know, be okay giving Lena a life away. But the way Ana plays, you almost always want to give that dude an Aegis. Because if he's as good as he is with one life,
Yeah,
give him another one.
second one
Anything's
will
possible.
only help. They're grouped up in this mid lane. The tower is already down here, though, so are they really trying to go high ground right now? Or do they just want to kind of take some map presence here? It does look like
I
that.
think they just want to force the TV back. They know meta's down for another minute, so they want to do something with it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But the bot tower is going down quite quickly.
Yeah, these illusions are starting to get into work with this catapult as well, and even the Eidolon's helping out. There is a lot of hits pushing this tower, but OG, they're up onto the high ground. The middle tower's going down even faster as there's no response to the tier 3 as of yet. Final Tribe, you have to defend this one.
They can't do anything though. Like, you can't do a toss play on Ana because he has a Remnant, he has an Aegis. So sending Ana up here is a great idea. And they can't do anything to him. Anything they do, and that's assuming that Jarex doesn't even swap. This is just the first life. And now Jarex looking for an offensive swap.
Yeah, chains
May
out
find
onto
it.
low ground.
Oh,
Oh, the
RP.
RP! Landing onto 3-step,
Oh,
brings
the
him back,
triple
bringing him down, but there's a Winter's Curse to try and turn this one around. Swap out, though, gonna play a little bit of space. Maybe Thompson's gonna survive this one. Will use himself up to help himself survive. Jimmy and Hanskin are down, so no black hole for this fight, but in comes the Laguna Blade, bringing down Chessie. He's gonna buy back into this one. They certainly want to fight as down goes Thompson. Frost will get the kill onto No-Tail. No-Tail get the kill onto Frost as he chases forwards with this impetus and Era going down. The impetus too damn strong. Level 12 Enchantress now as they win the fight on the high ground, and the racks will be their prize. Oh dear, Final Tribe starting to feel it slipping away. They must have been so hopeful after their win against NIP, but this series versus OG proving much, much tougher for them. Surely Anas get himself back. He might have come a little bit too far, but he's got the Aegis, so he's not too afraid of this one as they break down the Enigma. Oh no!
Midnight Pulse? Oh, he's still alive.
He's still alive. It's
Ana wants to die. He's
yeah,
like, dude,
yeah,
I need
he's like,
full
guys,
mana.
come on,
Please kill me. Thank you.
There we go. Chessie is obliging. He can't turn down a free Aegis.
So rarely do teams get so abused for having Metamorphosis on cooldown, but that was brutal. It was a 1 minute window that they had, and they got, what, 2 buybacks, a tiny buyback, a Wyvern buyback, and a full set of racks, and they lose literally nothing.
Yeah, well, they lose the Aegis.
Well, they lose Thompson, and they lose Aegis.
Yeah, they lose Thompson. Yeah, two important things.
But in the grand scheme of things, I think they're more than content with that turn of events.
Mana is just absolutely feeling it right now. No fear in the world. He just walks around the enemy side of the map completely on his own. He is fine
He's got
with
Haste Rune, he's got Lincolns. You need so many spells to keep this Ember Spirit under control.
I mean, they have him. They've got the Doom. They've got the Black Hole. They didn't use any of it in that fight, but still seems like a impossible.
At least this time he only has 1 life, hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. It does make the Doom and the Black Hole a lot more threatening.
I mean, ideally what they can do is they can curse someone around Ana, and then they waste some other spell to pop his Lincolns, and then they doom him while he's cursed.
Is the Avalanche going to hold them back for the time being, though, as Hanskin runs forwards? He's got the Black Hole to work with.
Dire's top tower is under
Lincoln's popped, Ana pieces out.
Yep, he's gone. Does not want to get doomed that deep in. And neither does Jarek, because if he gets doomed that far in, then guess who's going to be there sent to save him? Jarek's like, well, guess I'm going to die.
And
but
No-Tail
yeah,
doesn't
that's
even care. He's willing to throw his life away. He just wants to zone these people out with impetuses. He's got triple bracers, so as it is, he's fairly tanky in his own right. Doom?
And they go. They've got it in the Lena for the time being as Jibby takes some fire here. They will be able to bring down the Doom. Does buy back. So the Winter's Curse comes out into the Magnus. Now all they have to control up Ana is the Black Hole. And he's taking a ton of damage. Swap down to the high ground. Chessie in some trouble here. Does blink himself up, so should be okay for the time being. But OG still just continuing to knock on the door. Sleight of Fist after Sleight of Fist being thrown out into Final Tribe here. They're running forward, so they want to find Ana. They're doing a lot of damage with the Avalanche as well. Will he be able to get himself out? The RP on the backline is going to land onto the Terror Blade here. Can they follow up? Yes, they can. The Good Blade comes into the Black Hole onto nobody as well. Hanskin, no. Well, they jump in. They get the stomp onto 2. Ana dropping low, but he's always dropping low, but never going down. Hanskin's gonna die. They jump in. Jibby dropping low on health. Thompson is the one who's gonna survive as well as Jibby dies for a second time. That's a dieback from him. The Light Strike Array comes out on the Tiny and Chessie's dieback as well. This is looking grim. Maybe a little bit more than grim. Maybe it's over. And onto the high ground though. Surely they have to back out now. They don't have any health remaining, but No-Tail says, hey guys, what up?
Gather around. I've got salves, I've got attendants, I've got all your needs.
Look at the tips coming out. The ambulance arrives and then Chandra heals everybody up. Health for shards.
I like to think that No-Tail was walking down the lane going, wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
Yeah, maybe we should ask them that after the game.
This push is not ending.
Going onto the racks, it is not. And they're like, how are they all full health? How did this Oh yeah, and Chandra's in the game. And the top racks are down. 1 barracks remaining. That is all that's left of Final Tribe's hopes and dreams of going to Disneyland.
Well, I'm convinced that Ana's back.
Yeah.
Granted, these are not tier 1 teams yet, but in terms of like his presence in the game, I'm convinced.
Given the time he's had to practice, and you know, he hasn't been back. Well, he's been back like a couple of months, maybe. You know, it takes a lot longer than that to fully gel as a team, but you wouldn't have thought so watching Ana play today and yesterday.
Yeah, and how he is playing with the rest of his team, like you said, you can't just get back immediately into form, but they seem to be making a strong case that you just give this boy a week and he'll turn you into a TI champion.
yeah, it's nothing short. Frost playing the other side of the map for a little bit there as he's just using this this Manta style to farm up as quickly as possible anywhere he can. He's looking for this BKB. I mean, it'll be something.
I see a... Oh, he's going for Radiance. Damn it. I see a relic in Ana's inventory, but it's Radiance, not Rapier.
Even for Ana, that might be a little bit too much.
Talking about the man who built a meteor hammer on Phantom Assassin at the end of his game against Alliance.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Can't argue with that. The final wave now being pushed in for OG. They come into this bottom lane. Final Tribe set to defend. It's looking rough though. But they do have these ultimates. You know, we keep talking, coming back to them. I mean, unfortunately the Black Hole wasn't great. But hey, next time around, you know.
Quite generous of you, Nomad. Wasn't great.
It wasn't great, no. It zoned them back though.
It did.
A bit. They're going for the wraparound.
Hole.
I love this. It's a smoke. They're coming around the back lines.
Okay.
They've got 10 seconds until the Black Hole comes up. So they just need to wait for that a little bit longer.
Aww.
Dire's bottom tower is under
They come back into the base. All right. And I'm popping those smokes in deep with the Sleight of Fist.
I really think the play is you just curse someone next to Ana, and then you pop his Lincolns with your Splinter Blast, and then you doom him.
go, and the Laguna Blade coming out. They've nearly got the Doom brought down. Yes, they do. He does not have buyback either, so that means no Doom for this fight. Jarrett's coming in, throwing in the stun. Might be dropping himself. There's a Midnight Pod, takes him away. Frost finding up, gonna have to mantra himself off. There's No Tail doing a ton of damage. Oh, he's got to sunder his teammate, and they're both gonna go down, but what other choice did he have? It's so desperate as Jesse tries to come in the back lines. Seb just taunting the RP, will now throw it down and screw himself. He looks for the Wyvern as they'll finish off Jesse. Final tribe. Final game, final moments. It is all over now. They will just turn around and kill No Tail, which probably felt pretty good. Ana gets the rampage. A fitting way to end these qualifiers for OG. As Ana is back, OG will be making it to the major.
Good luck in Disney.
Good luck in Disney. Absolutely. Well, what a kind message. What a kind message. Well, that was a very short series. Final Tribe lose game 1 in 24 minutes, I think it was, and game 2 in 29. So a little bit rough for them as they struggled to raise a finger against OG. But I mean, how could you? They were just full comfort zone. OG getting to draft the heroes they wanted, and you know, game 1 was a runaway for Tops, and game 2 is a runaway for Ana. We saw a runaway game from Seb earlier on in the Necrophos, as well as you were saying. These guys just rotating around their core positions. Everybody showing up to play today, and when they do that, OG is a very, very formidable team.
That means their major problems are gone. No more trouble getting to majors. They have now hopefully put their name on the DPC map. We have still yet to see how they perform, but they will be joining their EU brethren, Team Secret and Team Liquid, as the representatives in Disneyland for the European region. And I think that they showed competency throughout the entire qualifier, that they absolutely deserve that spot. It was between, you know, them, TFT, Alliance, or NIP, and given the performances of these games, I think the spot rightfully went to OG.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. A hard case to argue, indeed. As well, I mean, Final Tribe, they're going to be happy about this all the same. You know, they got to the finals and they took down NIP, who a lot of people would consider being an upset. But yeah, I mean, not a great performance versus OG here. However, actually, you know what? I'm going to save a bit more analysis because we've got someone far more competent and upcoming on the stream to talk about that last game and these qualifiers. We've got Seb. He's going to be coming in for an interview, so hold on tight. We'll try and get him on the line as quickly as possible for a post-game interview with the captain of OG. Stay tight. We'll be back soon. Hello and welcome back to the stream where we have Seb on the stream with us. Seb, I want to be the first person to be able to say congratulations. You have won a trip to Disneyland Paris. How does that feel?
That feels great. I guess it's a kid's dream to go to Disneyland. So no, I mean it feels great to be back to a major. Obviously, it's been a long road.
And a major in your home country. I don't know what city you're from specifically, but I'm assuming you're looking forward to playing in front of a Parisian crowd.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be amazing. And also, I think the Dota word has not been introduced to the French crowd, but it is very it's just lit. It's just lit. It's one of the best crowds. I mean, I've attended esports events. I've attended esports events, non-Dota esports events in Paris before, and it was out of this world. So I'm really hoping it's gonna be. I mean, I know it's gonna be an insanely good event, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be amazing.
Sounds pretty awesome. Hope I can be able to turn up now. All right, so the first thing I want to ask is, was it hard for you guys to convince Ana to come back to OG after his hiatus?
No. It was pretty. We didn't even have to convince. It was pretty, like crystal clear that was the way to go. So we kind of knew it was going to happen eventually. It was just a matter of time, matter of patience, which we've shown over the last month, but it's been rewarded today. So I think everyone is very happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys deserve it.
Yeah, Ana's. He's clearly so good. He needs to go on cooldown every once in a while. Is there like an orientation for him at this point? Because you are so effective at taking him under your wing with like a week, 2 weeks to prep, and it seems like you guys never left. So is that special with Ana specifically that you're able to, so seamlessly bring him back into the fold? Or is there like some growing pains initially? Because during this qualifier, it looked extremely natural the entire way.
Yes, it was very natural. We're just back on track. So I think it was a good showing. It's going to keep getting better. I mean, there's something to it. We really believe in team spirit and whatnot. So obviously with Ana, it's just the last missing piece of the puzzle because we have 5 people, obviously even 7 people outside of the game, but in the game 5 people that really get along and look at the game the same way, think the same way, play the same way, so it just clicks and it's very natural. I like the analogy though with having to use Ana on a cooldown. Like when you use Ana, then he goes on cooldown. It's pretty good. I'll steal that one.
I mean, it's a solid 6 months, right? And then it's a 6-month uptime. The
It's a long
DPS is just so
cooldown.
high.
I wouldn't mind a buff, to be honest.
Oh yeah, buff. Icefrog's got a buff on us that were telling
Reduce
me.
cooldown.
It's a very 6 months cooldown is pretty long.
I think you
guys,
just
he's
need to get
OP
an
enough.
Octarine core next time.
Yes, we need to get him an Octarine in real life. Yeah.
All right, so in the game in the upper bracket, of course, you came across against Liquid, which was a pretty thrilling series, to be honest, all things considered. Unfortunately, you did end up dropping down. Do you think that was a case of you underestimating Liquid, or are they just kind of reading the meta a little bit better than you guys, or what do you think happened there?
I think no, we definitely did not underestimate Liquid. We have like probably the most respect for that team like in the world. Every time we play them, whether it is in scrims or official games, it's always like the highest level of Dota that we were given to play. We definitely play hearts out that series, and they also did. I think it was an extremely close series. We probably should have took it 2-0. Looking at game 1 in hindsight, but they were better in crucial moments of these games and these series. They definitely deserve to walk away with the win. We'll try to get them next time. It was a thrilling series to play for sure. We're looking forward for a rematch whenever that one comes.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, and on the topic of Liquid, while it's not necessarily pertaining to this qualifier, I really enjoyed your guys' post-mortem on TI's True Sight. And one question that I was curious about is I went back and watched the TI7 True Sight with Liquid, and it was really interesting how different the team dynamics were. Like you mentioned about bringing Ana back, you guys are all about team spirit, and Team Liquid are a little bit more subtle with that, whereas you are a more vocal force. So whenever you watched your True Sight and you watched Liquid's True Sight, you've been on OG for such a long time that like, were you curious that other teams' dynamics are so different? Even seeing like the Chinese teams in regards to your team, or do you just you're comfortable with the way that you do it, and you're like, other people can handle their emotions differently, but we have our own strategy?
Yeah, I think it's very different for every team because at the end of the day, it's a matter of human beings and different tempers, different nationalities, or whatever forged your character. I think every team have their own way. I was always pretty curious about the Chinese teams because we don't get to like exchange with them so much. We don't get to know them really because of the language barrier and the cultural differences. So I think that was the thing I was the most curious about. When it came to Liquid, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, I know them personally pretty well, so I already had a pretty good idea of what they would function and how they would function as a team. And also some of us, I mean, we've been on a lot of different teams with a lot of different people, so every team dynamic has to be unique. I don't think there is one way. There's a right way for your team for sure. There's one right way for your team, but there's not one right way that you can apply to every team. That's my take on it, at least.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much for coming to talk to us, Seb. We absolutely enjoyed talking to you and watching your games, of course, throughout these qualifiers. It's been absolutely awesome. We wish you the best of luck in the major, but for now, go and celebrate, have some fun, decide what rides you're going to go on. I don't know.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that about wraps it up for the coverage of the MDL Disneyland Paris Major Qualifiers EU region. But there is still NA stuff going on, and of course, I think there's some more SA games going on as well. So go and check those out. But from me, Nomad, and him, Tsunami, it's going to be goodbye, and we'll be seeing you next time.